Hey gamers, Skippy with you here again to talk about the future of console 7 Days to Die. So we finally have a full-out official statement from the Fun Pimps. It's been a few weeks here. I actually don't even know the time. The time has flown by so fast. But it's been a few weeks since we got the news that Telltale was shutting down, and we were kind of left out in the up in the air with what was happening with 7 Days to Die. Hadn't heard anything from the Fun Pimps. Kind of got a few, oh yeah, we'll take care of it type deals, and haven't heard much more. Until today, the Fun Pimps finally released a statement on Saturday about 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is so official, it is actually on their full website. And it goes such as, many are speculating as to the future of 7 Days to Die on consoles, and the Fun Pimps wanted to give the community an update. The news of the Telltale's demise and insolvency was both a saddening and shocking event. With no warning, we learned the news the same day as the gaming public. Upon hearing the news, the Fun Pimps immediately terminated its license agreement with Telltale, which only allowed publishing rights on the console ports of 7 Days to Die game. The termination also severed Telltale's rights to any future updates or sequels of the 7 Days to Die franchise. In the weeks following, we've been working in good faith with the remaining management at Telltale to regain control over the console versions and allow us to provide support and updates on those platforms. So far, those efforts have failed. Like you, we are incredibly frustrated by what has happened. We are pursuing all options to regain our rights, including legal remedies. Despite the damage that Telltale actions have inflicted on our company and upon our console community, we want to let you know that the Fun Pimps are supremely committed, to our fans and will continue to support 7 Days to Die game on the PC, as well as continuing efforts to aid console players in the future. The Fun Pimps will keep you updated as more information becomes available. So, this all very much sounds like great, fantastic news. I personally am happy to finally see an actual full-out statement, not just something thrown on the forums or tweeted out absentmindedly, or like a post you have to go digging for. They actually have it right on their main website, 7daystodie.com/telltale-update, and you can literally get to it. But at the same time, I kind of see a little bit of inconsistency in the message here too. We got to read between the lines a little bit, right? Okay, so it does seem that they know there's a huge problem and they've addressed it. They're like, oh crap, console audience isn't very happy, rightfully so. So maybe we should do something about it, right? So we'll take the first part here. Many are speculating as to the future of 7 Days to Die on console, and they wanted to give us an update. Damn right. You can't get mad at people for speculating when you don't tell them what's happening. The news of Telltale's demise and insolvency was both sad and shocking event. With no warning, we learned the news on the same day. So that actually makes a lot of sense. I will give them that. They didn't see it coming. We didn't see it coming. Nobody's seen it coming. The makers of Stranded Deep didn't even see it coming, and they were supposed to have a game released in the near future with them, like a couple weeks ahead of this announcement. So they kind of got screwed too. So we'll give that to the Fun Pimps. They didn't know it was coming. It was bad timing, right? So what they say here is, upon hearing the news, the Fun Pimps immediately terminated its license agreement with Telltale, which only allowed publishing rights on the console ports of the 7 Days to Die game. The termination also severed Telltale's rights to any future updates or sequels of the 7 Days to Die franchise. So I think the last part's a little redundant, where it said it also severed their rights because they're no longer going to be a company. So, and then they go on. In the weeks following, we've been working in good faith with the remaining management at Telltale to regain control over the console versions and allow us to provide support and updates on those platforms. So far, those efforts have failed. So what I see here is the Fun Pimps took their end of the contract, ripped it up, and from what I can tell, Telltale goes, we still have our version. So it looks like Telltale going strong-arming and going, you know what, it's done, it's all over with, didn't work because they don't have some control over the console version, right? And then they go on to saying, like you, we are incredibly frustrated by what happened. Yeah, I can imagine you are. It was kind of blindsided you right around the time Alpha 17 is supposed to be released, and you're dealing with all that crap too. And then they go on to say, we are pursuing all options to regain our rights, including legal remedies. So I was right last time thinking that this is going to go down the road where the Fun Pimps are going to have to go and sue Telltale to nullify the contract. So That's what I read out of this. It could not be that they have to sue to nullify the contract. They may have to sue because they're not, doing their due diligence. I don't know, but I do believe that this is going to be a legal battle, and it's going to take a while, and it's going to cost some money, and who knows? Hopefully the people don't end up having to pay for it. You know what I mean? It wasn't really our decision, and it wasn't really the Fun Pimps' fault either. The company went under. But at the same time, if you pay someone to do something and they fuck it up for one of your client's coming after you. If you go to your client and say, well, it's not my fault because I hired Johnny to do it and Johnny didn't do it right, so it's his fault, and then turn your back, that's when you're going to get a pissed off customer who's going to probably come and sue you for not doing the job right? So you can't really do that. You still have to take responsibility. It sucks Johnny friggin' bailed and didn't do the job right. But maybe you should have done a background check on Johnny a little bit better first. Or just did it yourself, right? I know it's kind of a hard, you can't really get mad at the Fun Pimps for doing it, but at the same time, you can't take the stance that they're not responsible at all for what's currently happening, right? They have to take some responsibility and grab the reins, which they show by releasing this statement. So cheers, Fun Pimps. I'm glad you finally put your foot down and finally gave us a solid statement on what's happening. I really do hope you as a company come together and come through with this. It's only the last statement here that really makes me nervous, because it does show to me that they don't have much faith in the fact that they'll be able to continue the console development. Because it says at the bottom here, we wanted to let you know that the Fun Pimps are supremely committed to our fans and will continue to support 7 Days to Die game on the PC, as well as continuing efforts to aid console players in the future. That doesn't say continue development. That doesn't say distribute the game. That doesn't say have it on the PlayStation or the Microsoft Store. Maybe that just says, we'll try our best to answer your questions, but it looks like that might be it. Or it might come through, they get it back from Telltale, and we're good to go. But only time will tell. I don't know what to think at this point. I'm kind of up in the air, and I don't really know, guys, to be honest. It could just kind of fizzle off and disappear and never come back again. The Fun Pimps could turn around and actually make it a great thing and maybe just port it themselves and do it properly instead of... The problem with console was that they would port over a version of the alpha, not all of it, but some of it, but they would also port over the bugs. And the PC version was already ahead and had fixed those bugs. So why they don't port that version plus the bug fixes over was always beyond me, because they'd port over the bugs, we'd have a crappy version of the game for a couple months, and then they'd fix them with the same patch that they had on PC for the last 6 months. You know what I mean? It's a little silly. So I think maybe if they pick it up themselves once they finish Alpha 17, do the console port as a finished, I'm not Alpha 17, I'm sorry. Once they finish the game, do the console port as a complete game, wash their hands to it, and I think they could walk away from this having a pretty decent reputation. But honestly, if they really don't come through with this, I think it will really hurt them in the long run, especially if they ever want to do anything else on the console again. But anyways, guys, I hope this video was informational for you. I hope something comes great out of it. Thanks again for coming out. Stay classy. Remember, always back up those game saves. You never know, the company might shut down. Peace out, and have a good one.